going? Alright, everyone. Well, I guess it's time for a much needed and probably not particularly anticipated update. So, in case you were all wondering what happened to the Orchid Chronicles and why I suddenly stopped, after I pollinated the cymbidiums in the greenhouse on campus, somebody had divided up the plant and discarded of the seed pods, even though I had indicated that I was working with them. And I basically became really discouraged and almost just got rid of all the plants that I had and gave it all up. And I kept a bunch of orchids and have still been working with them, but I haven't really gotten around to making any update videos. So I figured I would start this all up again just so that people can watch the progress of my orchid collection. So right now, today, I'm in a greenhouse that I've put a lot of my more finicky orchids, like the dendrobiums, this Oncidium alliance plants, the cymbidium here, things that want a little bit more light and a little bit more airflow. They're in here now. And they seem to have greened up a little bit more. Some of them lost a lot of foliage during the summer from being outside, so I'm trying to get them to recover. But they've been doing fairly well. My Dendrobium kingianum may be setting out some flower spikes. Let's take a quick peek at this guy. Setting out a whole lot of new growth. That's good. There were some buds. Looks like a keki is trying to form right here. This is a keki. It's got some pointed buds on it. Those might become flowers. I haven't seen this plant flower yet. Let's hope it does. The Dendrobium nobile made a series of flower buds, but I think it's killed them off since. Last year it bloomed without a problem. I don't know why it's failing to bloom this time around. Live and learn. One of my Dendrobiums shed all of its leaves and now is refoliating. Some of the others are doing that as well. You don't throw away a dendrobium just because it defoliates. A lot of them will naturally lose their foliage and then regrow. This is a dendrobium hybrid. It's starting to get some buds at the tips. Those might be flower buds. Dendrobiums tend to flower in the wintertime. My Catalaya alliance plants are starting to enter active growth. This is some new growth on this guy. As you can see, I have my sunlight-loving plants separated out by monocot or dicot. I'm coming in here to water some of these guys. This avocado, I'm still trying to kill off all the mealybugs. I got some eucalyptus growing. We got fig, hopefully comes into dormancy soon. The guavas are flowering and fruiting. Avocado. Poinsettias I have to put back. These are 3-year-old amaryllis seedlings. They're getting quite large. Hopefully they'll bloom soon. I'm really happy about this Cymbidium Sweetheart Sensation. It's got, I don't know if it's going to be a flower spike, but it's definitely new growth there. It does have a couple of flower spikes to it. You can see one right here. Is it really stabbing through the leaf? Oh well. There's a flower spike there and a flower spike there. I do have some refrigerated pollen, and some of the greenhouse plants are flowering again. I'm probably going to exclusively pollinate my own cymbidium because I don't want to lose the seed pods again. I have contacted some people to really make sure that if I get seed pods, people don't mess with them. It's not cool to mess with people's cymbidiums, guys. They take 9 months to mature as seed pods. This is my Macrophaeus. I'm hoping it'll bloom eventually. We had another cymbidium. It's put out some new growth, which is good. This is a Zygopatillum. I don't know if they're supposed to do this, but it looks like it killed off its foliage, and now the pseudobulbs are being sucked dry so that new foliage can grow. I'm kind of just letting it be as it is. It seems to be doing well. I just gotta go through and water all these guys because I haven't in a few days. But things seem to be going fairly well. I accidentally left my citrus here out in the cold for too long, but it is refoliating, so it didn't totally die. So that's the normal update for just some of these plants. Maybe the next episode I'll do some of my tissue culture stuff, which is really cool to see. Or I'll do the Phalaenopsis that are still in my room. I had all of these orchids in a shelf greenhouse that I have with some LED lights but some of them weren't liking it too well. They were starting to brown and lose their foliage. So I figured they'd do better here because there's better airflow and actual sunlight. And I was correct. They seem to be doing a lot better. So they're going to stay here. They'll be outside during the summertime as usual. I just don't want them to have too much cold exposure or excessive sunlight. These guys can go here. So you can look forward to weekly updates again on orchid stuff and other plants. I've been getting pogonia seeds to germinate, which I'll talk about next week. I have a Phalaenopsis seed pod developing now. I have some Phalaenopsis protocorms in the lab. Actually, I might as well just water these while I have the camera rolling. I probably should come through and fertilize these guys later this week. Epidendrums are pecking like crazy. I gotta make sure all these plants get their water. I'm not too worried about water being in between the leaves in here just because of how dry the air around them is. So the water won't really get trapped. I'm watering my pineapple. Notice how I'm really getting the leaves wet because the Bromeliaceae soak up water through the leaves. The roots of a lot of bromeliads are actually vestigial, so you really want to get the foliage of your bromeliads wet. My secret to getting the cymbidiums to rebloom year after year is tomato fertilizer. I think the Dendrobium nobile just didn't get enough cold in the fall. I kept it refrigerated at night until I started to see the buds initiate. I wonder if I had kept it in the fridge for another 2 weeks, if it would have better flower bud initiation. This is kind of a live and learn process. I'll try it again next year. Some of these plants I took from my mother. And so, like this guy, I forget if this guy was one of mine, but some of them are recovering from being with people who don't take care of them properly. I want to let water run through all these. Dendrobium kingianum. That guy really needs to bloom for me. So that's about it for now.